Bannerlord can be a brutally hard game. Often you're outnumbered and massive armies march against you. Well, in this new series, we're going to work together, friends. What I want you to do is send me your difficult situations that you're either currently encountering in Bannerlord in your campaign, or something that you've dealt with in the past where you're just unable to solve it. I will do my very best to handle these difficult situations. I will share the results on YouTube, provided they have some kind of educational value for people. We will take on these difficult challenges, do some battlefield analysis, and hopefully help you turn around a very, very difficult battle. So join me on this adventure. Please send me your difficult situations. Have a little patience. I don't know how many there are going to be, but I'm willing to take these challenges on for you fellas as we handle your disasters of war. All right, let's go ahead and load this up here. We are recording, so welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. And Henry, man, what you got yourself into here again? This guy is the second time submitting one of these requests, this Disasters of War series. We'll try to include his email, but basically he said all of Valandia is chasing his ass. He's got himself into trouble here, and this is a situation I'm not sure we can fix. He mentioned the reinforcement system. We have not turned that on here. Just looking at this, I'm glad we didn't, because there's no way you can win here with the reinforcement system on. He's facing three very sturdy Valandian forces here. Plenty of archers, plenty of cavalry, 22 sharpshooters. Oh, Henry, man, you got yourself into some real trouble here. This may not be a situation we can fix, especially since even if we win, we're going to be chased by these other Valandian units. So, we're going to go ahead and let the sergeant try this. Dirt Third is after you. Man, you really have just kicked the hornet's nest here. Probably can't help you, bud. But if you're watching this on YouTube, that means at least we made a good fight of it. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, he's got a few of the settings set to a little easier difficulty, but the player damage and the troop damage is on normal difficulty. So we will see what the sergeants do here, talk more about this series, and set a baseline for today's example. Now, he's got good troops. Look at that, right? This guy loves his Fianchamp archers. Maybe he's a subscriber to the channel, or he's just seen it on YouTube, right? Fianchamps, you're going to rip apart a lot of armies here, and look at his Fianchamps ready to go. The AI, though, you know, with the sergeants in charge here, are not going to be able to do much with this. They're rushing up, even though they should be doing the opposite. The AI should be pulling back here under assault by that. Look at the enemy's got all kinds of sharpshooters. You're basically fighting a whole army here with 100 troops. Not typically advised material. Whoops. We're hearing some Discord chat in the background. I'll try to turn that off between battles. Now, he's gaining some tactics here, even though the AI has no tactics. Although, you know, I beg your pardon, ironically, accidentally, they're doing a reverse slope decline defense. There's a little ridge there. They've got the cavalry out in front. Now they're kiting. This is amazing. I mean, it's not terrible, right? Normally, they even have a square almost of infantry, even though it's more like they got a square of annihilated infantry. But that wasn't wild. They're actually using this slope like a reverse slope decline, right? Which is going to be something that we consider for our attempt. Now, their cavalry's just trucking through here. It's not going well, right? You're going to have to kite. You're going to have to use this water. Now, fortunately, this landscape provides us with a lot of possible opportunities here for tactics. Of course, the AI used virtually none of them, right, apart from that initial hill. Now, look at the death span. Boy, they're really doing a number here, and that is, of course, your Fianchamp. They're in here swinging away with their broadswords, cutting apart Valandian units. Even though they're being charged by heavy cavalry, they still did pretty well in this battle. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, and this gives me hope that we can win this battle, right? Even with virtually no tactics, they killed half of this Valandian force. Still defeat, and we're going to have to give this another shot here with real tactics. All right, here we reloaded. 110 versus 313. We shut off the Discord here so we don't get any more interruptions. And I think we can make this work. Now let's look to fine tune here. Now Henry is unconscious. We have to fight this battle with the RTS mod. This guy's got a mace, no shield, and some bows. kind of equipment do you got here, Henry? Sometimes we're going to do this, right? In fact, there's something right away. We're going to use that banner. We're fighting a lot of cavalry. You got a naked dude here, Henry, right? You got to get your guys decked out. Especially, this is like the Bannerlord prom. You don't want to just eat an onion, show up half naked. You're not going to dance with anybody, right? You're going home with rosy palms. You are not getting laid. So let's deck this guy out a little bit. He can shoot a crossbow. We're going to need every single ounce of fighting material here to pull this off. He's starting to look decent. Let's just throw on some armor here for him. It doesn't matter too much, but having a guy naked as opposed to having him fully armed with a crossbow, and this guy can shoot a high-level crossbow, maybe he'll get 5 or 6 kills, and that might be the difference here. Trying not to alter your guys' save games too much here. We'll leave the player damage and everything else the same here, even though he's using some easier difficulty. And again, we're forced to the RTS mod because Henry is unconscious. You fellas with the console, you would be fucked here. You'd have to hit the send button. You're going to lose 101 times out of 100. Every single time you lose this battle with auto-resolve. Now, I'm looking at water, I'm looking at terrain. I like that hill, right? We're going to use that. The AI actually taught me something in this battle, or more accurately, we observed the AI using it, and monkey see, monkey do. Now we're going to separate our archers, as we do often in the channel. Let's do 3 divisions, 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's customary for me, and it's relatively easy to micromanage. 3 units of archers. Of course, we're going to have the advantage of the RTS mod. Guys say all the time, well, you can't do that without the RTS mod. In other words, you can't micromanage your units, which is obviously false. Plenty of the guys on the channel are playing in the first-person perspective, able to pull off kill boxes. This is a variant of a kill box, but we're going to get tricky, just like Henry's first time and first battle is more accurate. We had a battle where we helped this fella. I think it was like episode 5 or something like that. And we're going to try to use some similar strategies. And that hill, we'll use this water. We're definitely going to kite. We're going to use distractionary squares. But he's got now banners that increase the unit's melee attack damage versus cavalry. Very important here, right? Because we're facing a lot of cavalry. All right, let's start using some of these banks. I like troops right at the edge of the water. That way, your troops move fast and can retreat, but the enemy chasing after you is slowed down, right? You want to use water anytime it's present. We're going to stick cav lines towards the front, archers towards the front, and I'm moving them up here because of that ridge, right? We're going to stick a cav line on that ridge. That way, as their enemy cavalry comes over, it runs into our cav line. Our cav can't be shot much by archers, and well, our archers will be able to shoot them. Now on this side over here, we're going to have infantry and cavalry paired together, right? It's the same scenario, just in case someone thinks that somehow we're I don't know, playing on with different difficulty or something like that. This should be something that most players can replicate, although admittedly, I have a lot of experience and this kind of micromanagement is uncomfortable for a lot of units, a lot of players out there. I just called you guys units. You guys are studly units. All right, so we're gonna, let's see here. Those guys need to be spread a little bit more. The reason, if you're wondering why I have some archers right next to the water, is I'm actually going to kite into the water. Don't forget, the enemy has a lot of infantry and cavalry here. If your archers are in the water, it's actually advantageous because cavalry and infantry attacking them are going to trudge their way to them, right? Which means cavalry won't be charging and doing major damage. Now, our shields are doing a wonderful job, right? These guys over here in a shield wall and the guys here in the center, they are absorbing arrows. Now they absorbed a little small cav charge, and look at that shit, right? Those guys are, it's basically keeping the enemy crossbow out of the battle at the start of this. Now I'm going to start to move these guys over here. I didn't notice their infantry was already somewhat in the water, and we're going to open up the center here. Classic kill box. Now let's get these guys up here. I want this infantry attacking now that the cavalry is charging, right? This is perfect. It's shield and shock. You just don't have any shock troops. And look at the death span, right? As our guys dismount cavalrymen, held up that line completely. Not a single loss there, right? As that line of defensive cavalry took the brunt of that hit. And then hopefully those infantrymen are spearing them and stabbing them as they come in behind. Now they're hitting our Fiend Champ line. I forgot to mention, the 6th Corps over here is the strongest division. It's almost all Fiend Champs. And I did that because in the first battle, the cavalry came from that flank. Over here, these guys are starting to shoot the enemy in the side, right? That's beautiful. Importantly, the enemy's not shooting our units, right? They're a long ways away. Now we begin the kiting process. And I'm kiting intentionally to try to drag that infantry through the middle of that river. If we can get them in the river, I think this battle is over. Get these guys way back here. I'm doing this because these guys to their left are our strong line. I want them to attack those guys, right? They're going to be drawn, in fact, almost like they're listening to me. Thank you for cooperating, Valandia. They're now being pulled into the river and surrounded by Fiend Champs. This 5th Corps, in fact, we can have these guys stop. They can just be in a line nearby. Look at where the enemy is now. They're in the water, getting shot from behind. The cavalry's, you know, kind of moving slowly, but it's also still distracted there by that cavalry and infantry. Those guys are now attacking. And I want that because I want those infantrymen spearing those cavalrymen. I want our cavalry on that side sort of holding back the enemy. Now that ridge on the left is going to allow us to move our archers back a little bit more, but we're going to have to deal with the enemy archers, right? We will probably put a cav line out there in a shield wall because those guys eventually are going to start getting killed by the enemy archers. That line's doing okay. A few deaths there. Our infantry is attacking here, but I think we're just going to reset it, right? Just keep kiting. We might lose another guy or two, but their infantry is confuscated, right? They are absolutely flummoxed, confused, disoriented. Choose your word, right? These guys are baffled. We've got a nice vocabulary here to decimate, destroy, obliterate, demolish our foe. Now they're chasing our infantry and cavalry, which is a dream for us, right? Please chase our heavily armored, shielded units. These guys are starting to get killed, so let's give them a cav division of protection, right? That archer division I kited a little far there. Those guys are probably going to start, we're starting to lose some of them. But that ridge is protecting them, and they're at a long ways away from the enemy, right? So that looks good. We've got this battle in hand. The enemy's in the worst possible position. They are directly in the middle of all our different divisions. I'm going to keep pulling this division back here. Now, their cavalry's still charging through, and it's killing some guys, but not too bad, right? You see 1 death for every 5 or 6 kills of ours. This cavalry line is still holding back all those crossbow, although they're starting to push up. You know what that means? They're going to engage in melee. So it's better in a situation like that where you have the enemy crossbow moving up. Don't let them get to the stage where they can combine forces with this infantry. Kill this infantry first, and that'll free up those Fiend Champs to then shoot at the incoming crossbow. Now these guys here, these Fiend Champs, what I'm going to do here is now that they're sort of together, see how close the enemy is, charge and hold fire, every single guy, right? And watch these Fiend Champs go to work. They start breaking out the 2-handed weapon, and they're like, oh, you're an infantryman, huh? Well, you're a dead infantryman, right? Die as they barrel in on the enemy. Beautiful. Now we've got to get those guys firing because a bunch of crossbow are coming up. But we've got infantry here holding shields in their face. That 6th is almost done here with the enemy infantry. In fact, let's tell these guys to fire. Shit, I fumbled it. Fire. They'll start opening fire on the crossbow now. Our infantry's a mess. It's kind of all over the place. Not much we can do about that. Let's not reset it. This division is straight on strafing them with arrows. And that's it. Guys are already cheering. Unreal. I mean, we didn't just win here. We obliterated this Valandian force. They are sent packing. 23 casualties, and we got 245 kills. That is dominance indeed. 34 upgrades, Henry. So your army is rapidly developing into a Fiend Champ powerhouse, and that's amazing, right? Think about that. We did that with highborn warriors and heroes, and of course, we've demonstrated on the channel that even the tier 3 Fiend archers are lethal. And we get a few looters here, some sergeants, do some upgrades, a pile of upgrades, because we're going to have another battle here. In fact, strap yourself in. I think the king is going to be part of the next battle. I'll probably just, I don't know what to do with the loot there, Henry. I'm reticent to put any of your equipment on, so I will probably leave you all those choices. Now, I don't think we can get away from these guys here. You really stubbed your toe, Henry, here. Oh, Henry, dude, there's a candy bar named like Oh, Henry. That is the situation here. Now the king barrels in on us, and we're outnumbered almost 4-1. So, I don't know if we can repeat it. Guys are injured. However, your main character got just enough health there that he can fight, right? So, at least we can get on the battlefield. I don't know what kind of a warrior he's got. This is the first time we've been able to control his guy here. Let's see what we got here. We got water. Do we have any rocks or ridges? What do we got here? Oh, that's fucking beautiful over there. That just reeks of tactical opportunities for this kind of army. And let me make that point here. We're going to set up the units exactly the same as before, with one exception. We got Henry here. We can place him, let's see, decreased ranged taken, in charge of a cavalry division. We've got 18 cavalrymen. Most of the cavalry survived that because they were defensive that battle. Now, let's get these archers spread out and the companions. You just can't do tactics like this without archers. There's a lot of guys that write in or leave a comment on YouTube videos, and they're like, hey, man, how do I do tactics with infantry to win outnumbered 8-1? You don't. Right? It's not a thing, right? You're looking at 3-1 at the very best with tactics with infantry against, and what I mean by that, of course, is equal foes. With archers, you might get 5, 6, 7-1 against equal foes as long as you have good tactics. Archers are the core behind succeeding in Bannerlord, including all of your tactical setups here, right? He's got a decent little axe here. Maybe we can behead Dirt for him, or maybe we'll get captured, right? We'll see. If we lose this battle, we'll call it good, bud. We're going to do our best here. I'm not going to fight these twice. This ridge, though, is nasty, right? I don't know if you guys can see this. He's got a shallow ridge to sit on over here with his archers. There's water in between him and the enemy, and it's a peekaboo ridge. This is almost like I designed this for this battle. The enemy's going to have to get close with crossbow, at which point they're going to get shot in the face by Fiend Champs. On top of that, we can put these 2 defensive cav lines on both edges, and he's got 14 infantrymen that made it through that battle, and or there's probably some looters in there because we recruited prisoners. Let's give him a little bit of just a distraction here while we run these troops up. I'm doing this strictly so that our guys don't get gunned down and ran down while we're coming up here, right? Those of you who are about to die, we salute you, right? In fact, you can see it's actually causing their crossbowmen to stop. That's good for us. Although that's not. Jesus. One shot, and I've almost already been dismounted here. Let's see if we can even get back to our troops here before taking a stray bolt. Anyways, just to cap that point, your reverse slope decline, your kill box, your crossfire, all of your different nasty tactics in Bannerlord, they all depend on archers. If you're not using a lot of archers in your army, you just can't do these elite tactics. Throw a few javelins here, probably kill one of our own guys. Henry's got a little bit of javelin skill here. We're gonna get your guys some character levels. Their commanders over there yelling. Try to cut a few of these guys down, but look at already, their cavalry got devastated just coming into this fray. Now the rest of their archers are a long ways away, and I actually can see them shooting at our units, but I'm okay with it, right? Because they're a long ways away. They're just kind of plinking our units. Meanwhile, we're just destroying their cavalry, and we're doing so without any support. Because our units are visible, their crossbows stopped where they were, and they just started shooting all that distance, right? That's actually an advantage for us. You don't really want to get hit by a combined attack here because it would be much harder to survive. Now, it's still an incredibly daunting line, right? There's a huge amount of troops, but it's mostly crossbow, right? I see 222 crossbow, which is precisely the kind of army you destroy with the reverse slope decline. They can't see these units. They're not visible, and the only way they can come up and approach us here is by coming up to that ridge, at which point even this barefoot motherfucker here is going to be shooting them. I thought we equipped your guys, but evidently... Oh, you know what? It says that was a bushwhacker. Maybe that was one of the guys we recruited. I didn't see. All right. Well, so they're slowly coming up. That's because the AI doesn't want to get close, right? It's got archers, and it's like, how do I get close to these guys? A human opponent might be able to flank you in multiple angles, although it'd be really fun to play peekaboo with all these rocks. But the AI has no such endeavors, right? No such capacity. They will come up, expose their little faces over this ridge, and catch Botanian Fiend Champ arrows in the face. Now, I just want to do this just to show you fellas one more thing you can do. You can actually stack up roaming horses as a barrier, right? If you have a minute before your next battle, get off your horse and just put these guys in a line next to the infantry. Get off and make sure they're standing still. And it's almost like a tree is in the way, right? It's one more little thing you can do to help your guys. The rest of their cavalry just suicide. There's Dirt right there. Look, he's got 98 arrows in his shield. The king's over there yelling. This would be sweet if we could fucking take him out. We got like 50 Fiend Champs here. We did a bunch of upgrades at the end of that battle. I didn't actually look to see how many we have, but we have a lot. This might be a battle we can win. This would be sick. All right, hold on, Square. There's a couple good infantrymen in there. That cav line I just have there to sort of intercept flank attacks. But notice we're tucking ourselves here underneath this ridge. Kill the king. Be sick. Henry kills Dirther. Their cavalry is just instant melted. These guys, I don't even get to swing my weapon at them, right? Fiend champs are like yum yum. And they have lots of ammo, right? These guys are just sitting there hyperventilating with excitement as the enemy approaches this line. Good fucking luck. We're at least going to be able to make a battle of this. Now, the infantry is going to engage, right? That's why these units are here in a square. I want them beating on our shields, not our archers. If you pull back and guys, oh shit. If you pull back here, shit, everybody stop. God damn it, our cavalry charged forward. We're going to have to try to recover this. Fortunately, it happened right as they were charging up. Get back here, boys. It's actually not the worst thing because it's causing consternation and delay with the enemy. But damn, I need those guys. We're losing a lot of them as they charge up. Well, no time for caution. At least they have some mediocre troops here, right? We got a guy with a bow. I'm going to smoke a few of these guys. I'm going to charge with one division of Fiend Champs. Hopefully the other two divisions have range. This guy's got a good weapon. Got a quick mace. No shield. But it's usable. And there's at least two lines that look okay. God damn, they're waiting in the water. They pulled back briefly. Man, come on, boys. Shoot them. There's two full lines over there just spraying the enemy. And critically, their crossbow is not really on that ridge shooting us too bad. They sent mostly infantry first. Come on, boys, fight for your lives. They're charging with the crossbow. Okay, get in there and charge. Let's get this cavalry division put over there in a shield wall, basically directly in front of these guys. You see all these troops there lined up. Those two guys are there kind of holding that edge. Just take this cav division and put it right in the midst of that enemy force, right? Not charge, motherfuckers. Stand there. I want them just standing there, absorbing arrows, distracting, while our Fiend Champs rip it up. Go, boys. God, we got this shit. Come on. They're fucking smoked. This is fucking beautiful. Unbelievable. We didn't just win. Again, we mauled the enemy here. And again, so there's several processes that are occurring here, right? First, Fiend Champs are OP, right? You young guys like to say OP, overpowered. They need a nerf. Look at this fucking shit. This is just a Fiend Champ wrecking these bastards, right? Our Battanian force here. We lost a handful of guys, but we smashed this Valandian force. Back-to-back battles. Still have 50 troops left. And even though we lost Henry ate shit. Everybody else survived. The Fiend Champs got a 20-to-1 kill ratio. And they will remember this, right? No doubt. All right, brother. A bunch of renown, a bunch of influence. You know, you're ripping it up here. Let's take the king prisoner. Come with us, right? We will turn this save game back over to you, bud. Or maybe you don't need it. Either way, there you go. There's your solution, right? We're going to use some nasty tactics with Fiend Champs. Frankly, if you get a bunch of Fiend Champs, and this guy has like 50, 30, 40, 50, once you get 50 Fiend Champs and you have good tactics, you have entered God mode, Bannerlord God mode, right? Most players don't do it once they have some experience because it makes the game so easy. So, may round up some of these guys here, but I also kind of like just saving the game right here. How to try to figure out how we do this shit here. Henry's not too concerned about it, so maybe we won't save the game at all. Either way, you want to continue to subscribe if you want to watch this series, right? We're going to continue to do this Disasters of War series. There will be more. If you want to submit your own requests, all you do is submit it to the email that's listed in the video description. I will try to get to it. If I can get to it, make a solution that's worthwhile to share with the fellas here on YouTube. YouTube can be on our channel. You and I basically working together, right? It's pretty cool. So, right on, man. Mr. Henry. Try to stay out of Landian territory with a little tiny army. But again, if you get into trouble in the future, bud, come and see us. And we will do the very best we can. With that said, friends, of course, you want to subscribe. Hit that like button if you don't mind. And I will see you, friends, and Henry, next time.